welcome to the garage on Ridebuyph. Now I'm standing next to what could be the hottest crossover in the local market. It's none other than the BYD Sealion 5 DMI. So what makes this crossover so special? Well, let's just say it's the most accessible crossover from BYD. How accessible? Well, it's priced even lower than the BYD Sealion 6. Wow! So now, let's take a look at this car all around. So for starters, as you can see, the BYD Sealion 5 DMI carries some of that signature BYD styling. So kita natin, very angular, very futuristic. Technically speaking, the Sealion 5 is part of BYD's Ocean series, as you can tell by the name. So you can see some ocean-inspired elements here, like the flowing lines which mimic the flowing ocean. And over here on the side, you have this nice silver accent that runs through the side of the vehicle all the way to the back. Tsaka meron tayong dito mga parang kaliskis ng isda, parang siyang fins, parang siyang scales. So it gives it a very edgy, very modern aesthetic. So down here, you get some nice cladding here on the fenders and underneath the doors. And the wheels are 18-inch alloys, diamond finish, two-tone wheels that give this car a very good aesthetic. Okay, moving on to the back, you can see the lines here continue to flow seamlessly over here. And you get a very sporty-looking rear end on this vehicle. Here you get blacked out finish here underneath. A very sleek-looking tailgate, taillights which flow like one piece from left to right. Very nice, very sleek design. So now, let's take a look at the engine. Okay, moving on to the engine, at the heart of the BYD Sealion 5 is a very familiar powertrain. It's the same engine and electric motor combo we find in the BYD Seal 5 DMI. It's rocking a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated inline-4 engine, which serves a sole purpose of being a range extender. So it is an electric vehicle. It has an electric motor, which works together with that range extender to give you a lot of very efficient mileage. Performance-wise, we're looking at 194 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque, and that's a lot of power for a crossover of this size. With the performance out of the way, let's take a look inside the BYD Sealion 5 DMI. So kitang-kita niyo, pag bukas pa lang ng pinto, you're greeted by a very luxurious, very premium, and very modern interior. It's draped in this leather finish, which is a parang siyang tritone. Meron tayong black and beige and some off-white accents, and nice orange piping here on the seats that give it a very modern and very youthful aesthetic, as you can see. Okay, moving on to the back, we open it up, you get a very spacious cabin, a very spacious second row with a lot of legroom and a lot of headroom. The same tritone motif continues here at the back with black, off-white, and beige accents with orange piping. Passenger accommodations include aircon vents, USB charging, and a very handy cubbyhole in the middle. So another interesting feature here for extra passenger comfort is pwede natin i-recline or i-angle yung seat backs. There's a lever here. All you have to do is to push, and you can recline and straighten the seat for a more comfortable position. Let me show you. Let me demonstrate. So here, halimbawa long road trip tayo, punta tayong Baguio. Just have to recline the seat if I want to take a nap, just like that, and you're nice and comfy. And let's say you want to see a better view, get a better view of the surroundings, you just straighten up the seat like so, and you can see around very easily, very upright. Okay, let's look at the cargo bay at the back. It's where all your toys are gonna go on road trips. So one thing to note, wala siyang automatic tailgate. So wala, pag ginano mo, you have to use your muscles to open it like this. Inside, you get a spacious 531 liters of cargo space. Now, if you fold the two rear seats down in a 60-40 split configuration, that bumps up the cargo space to 1,339 liters. So napakaraming gamit pwede mo karga. How many golf bags can you fit there? How many bicycles can you fit there? Well, that's for you to find out. So ganito kaluwag ang loob ng Sealion 5, no? With the seats folded down, fold flat siya. Pwede ka mag-plank sa loob, pwede ka mag-workout dito. Planking tayo, yan. Pwede mag-push-ups, tama ba ako? Oh, wala. Perfect. Pwede ka rin mag-crunches. O, di pa. Okay siya, pwede. Perfect. Versatile na versatile, di ba? Panalong panalo. So closing it is, again, done by brute force. No power tailgate here. Okay, now that we've given you a good walk around of the BYD Sealion 5, it's time to hit the road and see what this thing is like to drive. So here we are inside the BYD Sealion 5. Let's start it up. So you get this very cool rotating screen. Okay, so medyo nainitan ako. This car has voice command, so let's try to see if that works, if it can do something for us. Hi BYD,
Please continue.
please turn on the aircon.
Okay, the air conditioner is set to cooling mode.
Whoa, how cool is that? So ayan, that's just one of the few cool features of this cabin. Okay, so we can now talk about the interior. So as you can see here, very sleek, very modern, lots of futuristic elements actually if you think about it. So on the top you get black, you get silver lining here, you get piano black, nice beige off-white accents, very modern, very youthful. Of course, what stands out here is BYD's signature rotating infotainment system. So you can just press that and the whole thing just turns.
Wow.
How cool is that, right? So
Again.
Isa pa. Let's do it again. Oh.
Okay.
Okay. So ako personally I prefer it landscape mode. So let's bring it back to landscape mode. There. So as is the case with most new cars nowadays, no? So everything is controlled through the screen. You don't get any physical buttons for the air conditioning. It's all through this screen. So the only downside of that is, of course, as you're driving, no? You gotta take your eyes off the road momentarily to press this button for the climate control settings to come out. But it is what it is. All cars are like that nowadays. You can't really complain. In the middle here, instrument cluster, you get this screen. You have all the stuff you need. You got the real-time tire pressure monitoring system, your state of charge, how much range you have left, your speedometer, and how much kilowatts the engine, the motor is actually producing at any given moment. So that's pretty cool. Moving on to the center console here, you might expect to find the start button here. It's not here. It's here in the middle, right below the gear selector, which you might be familiar with because it seems to have come from other BYD models like the Tang and the other Dynasty series of BYD's cars. There are no advanced driver assistance systems on this other than a reverse camera and parking sensors, and that's because BYD wanted to position the Sealion 5 as its more accessible and more affordable entry-level crossover. Okay, another thing worth noting is that the Sealion 5 does not come with a sunroof. You just get this blacked out headliner here, which is actually pretty nice. And again, the materials in the interior are nice. You get a leather-wrapped steering wheel, full leather seats, soft touch plastics here on the top and here in the middle. Very nice place to be in actually. So yeah, we have a nice interior, we have good performance, a very practical cargo bay. Now it's time to see what it's like to drive. Okay, so putting this vehicle into drive, it's not that different from other cars. There's just an unlock button here you have to press, so press that while sliding the gear selector to the D position. It automatically disengages the electronic parking brake and we can drive off. So as I mentioned earlier, the BYD Sealion 5 has 194 horsepower, which is very much on demand. Woo! So as you can see, our cameraman just was pushed back into his seat. Okay, so driving dynamics. So it drives very much like an electric vehicle. You don't hear the internal combustion engine anytime at all when you're driving, pwera na pag umuupak ka na. The steering feel is very light, very surprisingly dynamic. It feels weighted as you're going at a higher speed. You feel that there is some extra weight in the steering. And when it comes to ride quality, as is the case with most BYD vehicles, the ride quality on this thing is very nice. Up front, it's rocking a McPherson strut-type suspension, and at the back, you get multi-link rear suspension. So it soaks up bumps very well, very stable siya at high speed, and you don't really feel like you're actually driving a crossover. The way it handles the weight, more like a sedan siya. Very agile, very compact feeling. Okay, so when it comes to the brakes naman, so this car, it has a regeneration system as you step on the brakes, and it shows in the display. As you step on the brake, you feel na, of course, it slows down, but it's also charging the motor. And that's because yung initial bite ng preno niya is not yung physical brakes. Yung initial bite ng preno is actually the electric motor doing its sort of engine braking thing. Tsaka na lang magkikick in yung actual brakes mo. So that's also cool because as you're going downhill and you're stepping on the brakes, you're actually also recharging the battery in the process. So this car has an electric motor, so one of the perks that you get with an EV is instantaneous power delivery and instantaneous torque. So itong engine na to produces 194 horsepower and 300 newton meters of torque, instantly available the moment you step on the accelerator. So BYD claims 0 to 100 around 8 seconds, which is very impressive for a crossover of this price and of this size. So now let's see exactly how much power does this thing actually make to the ground. Okay, ready? Let's launch it in 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, iyak agad ang gulong. It's enough to break traction. And there, with the full power mode, the engine kicks in to give it a bit of an extra boost. Okay, so beyond the performance and the practicality of the Sealion 5, you get a very good cabin, a very good, well-appointed interior. So let's start off with this massive screen over here in the middle. No? So as we mentioned earlier, it rotates. Now it's in its horizontal setting, but the UI itself is very comprehensive. Right off the gate, you get built-in navigation, you get built-in Spotify, and a whole bunch of other apps. You have your phone connection, you have your navigation, you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. All of them are wireless and all of them come as standard. So regardless of whatever device you're using, this infotainment system is compatible. So very nice. Now moving on to more practical features here. Underneath here, meron kang cubby hole with a bunch of sockets for you to plug your devices. You have your standard cigarette lighter type of charger here. You have 2 USB ports over there. Moving up here to the middle, you have a place here to put your phone or whatever stuff you want. I find it very useful kasi yung phone ko madalas nag-overheat. Ginaganon ko siya sa aircon. So, nalalamigan na rin yung phone ko. Over here, you get your center console. You have the drive selector, your modes, driving modes. You can turn off your stability, all of that stuff. Auto hold. 2 cup holders here. And a massive cubby here in the middle for you to put all your stuff. So, very practical. And everything is nice kasi alam mo lahat ng bagay sa loob is within reach, no? So you can put some stuff here on the sides, on the door cards, in the middle, lahat siya within reach. All of it, you can reach their stuff without having to take your eyes off the road or just one hand off the wheel. So of course, the BYD Sealion 5 is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So technically, that means you can just gas and go and not have to worry about charging. Pero syempre, since nga plug-in hybrid siya, you're gonna wanna plug it in to get the full experience. So luckily, BYD will supply you with a 3.3 AC charger, allowing you to juice up the battery to full in around 4 hours. No? So for reference, this car comes with a 12.9 kilowatt-hour battery and a 52-liter fuel tank. So combined, they give you around 1,000 kilometers of range on a full tank and a full charge. But if you're looking to drive pure electric mode only, well, you'd be lucky to go around 70 kilometers. Okay, so just a quick backgrounder on how the plug-in hybrid EV system works, no? So actually, most of the time as you're driving, you're just on pure electric power. But once the battery charge, yung state of charge na tinatawag, goes below a certain level, so I think it's 20%, I believe. That's when the gasoline engine will kick in and work to charge the battery. So let's say you're far out of town, walang chargers anywhere nearby. You can still get the most performance and the most efficiency out of this plug-in hybrid EV setup. So there you have it, a quick first drive review of the brand new BYD Sealion 5 DMI. So as I said, this is one of the hottest and most accessible crossovers from BYD. It's shaping up to be a really, really strong contender in the local crossover SUV segment. So there you have it. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to the garage on Ridebuyph for the full written review of this crossover.